Hi everyone, welcome to Cooking Vintage, where we cook vintage dishes in vintage dishes. I'm Andy, let's begin. Today we are cooking out of one of my favorite cookbooks, the Better Homes and Gardens Desserts Cookbook. It was originally published in 1960. This one is published in 1968, it's the 7th printing. And we're making peanut butter cupcakes. Look at that, yum, so exciting. I have peanut butter, shortening, vanilla, brown sugar, 2 eggs, which I've let come to room temperature, flour, regular flour will do for this one, baking powder, salt in my nifty salt keeper, and milk. I measured for ease of use. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is go into the old KitchenAid mixer, and we're going to cream the peanut butter and the shortening together. This is really kind of interesting. I always say, if you've watched any of my videos or if you've read my blog, fat is fat is fat. But it's interesting because we're combining 2 different kinds of fat, one fat from the peanut butter and one fat from the shortening. So I'm just gonna fill up this whole 1/2 cup measure with my nice creamy peanut butter here. I chose Skippy, use whatever peanut butter you want. I think probably not crunchy is the only thing I would say. So we're gonna go ahead and scoop that in. Yum. I have kind of an interesting situation because I'm going to a barbecue tomorrow and my best friend is allergic to tree nuts, but not to peanuts. So I'm making a peanut butter dish instead of a regular nut dish. Okay, we're adding our shortening. I know shortening scares people sometimes. If you don't want to use shortening, use softened butter. It's fine. Like I said, a fat is a fat, is a fat, is a fat, is a fat. Okay, now I've got shortening on my hands. All right, so it also says to add the vanilla here. So we're going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I've got my 1/2 teaspoon measure, so we're gonna do 1, 2, and it's got a cream. So I'll see you in a bit. So I've got everything kind of creamed. I'm gonna try to show you on the beater here. We've got this like nice creamy kind of fluffy texture with the shortening and the peanut butter mixed up together with the vanilla. Now we're gonna add our brown sugar. Yeah, I'll be right back. So what I just did was I actually pre-measured my brown sugar into this really cute little vintage cereal bowl. You're supposed to add the sugar gradually, and I just find it's a lot easier if you can pre-measure it and then add it gradually using a spoon. So we're gonna do that now. I'm gonna turn back on my mixer and start adding my sugar. See you in a minute. All right, so I've added my brown sugar. The next step is to add the eggs, and you're supposed to add them one at a time. I am the queen of cracking both eggs and getting shell right into my mix. So I always crack it into another bowl. I'm just gonna reuse this one. And I'm gonna toss it right in. 1. No shells. All right. Next thing we have to do is mix our dry ingredients, and I forgot a bowl, so I'll be right back. All right, I went and I grabbed my favorite little medium mixing bowl. One thing that folks don't talk about enough is how you scoop flour when you're baking, and I really think it makes a difference. I'm using a spoon and I'm kind of lightly dropping it into my measuring cup. This keeps it from packing in to your measuring cup and making your baked goods too dense. So if you've ever like made some bread or made some cake and you're like, oh gosh, that is a bread, that is a cake. And it's just got a lot of heft to it. It's probably because you scooped your flour. So take just a little bit more time. It really doesn't take that much more time, I promise. And do this little like action. So you make like a little mound, and I just use my finger to level off. I used to question this, but I saw Rachel Ray do it once and I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. Okay. That's our flour. We're gonna add our baking powder. We need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1, 2, my first scoop was a little light, so I'm gonna make up for it. Okay, and then we're gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. My husband got me these super cute little salt keepers that say Andy's Kitchen on them, but just give it a little shake, a little bit of salt, done and done. The original recipe says to sift. I think the important thing is that you're just adding a little bit of air and you're making sure everything's really incorporated. So I always use a whisk. It's just the way I roll. So there we go. We're gonna whisk everything in. And then I'm gonna add my dry ingredients alternately with my milk. So a little bit of dry, a little bit of milk, back and forth, till we're all done and we have a lovely cupcake batter. I'll be right back. All right, we've got everything mixed together. It's made this really beautiful, smooth, peanut buttery, yum, batter. I had taken some time before to prep my cupcake tin, and we're just gonna fill it up. The recipe says fill them halfway, should make about 2 dozen cupcakes. I'm just gonna fill them till they're about even, and every cupcake holder has a little cupcake batter. And then into the oven they go, so I'll see you in a bit. All right, both trays just came out of the oven. You can see they've got this beautiful golden brown kind of color. It's a little tricky to see on film. I also used my trusty tester just to make sure, nice and clean. Our next step is to let these guys cool. The recipe says to frost them with peanut butter and a little bit of powdered sugar. I'm gonna do that for some of them, but I'm also gonna whip up a strawberry jam buttercream. Butter, strawberry jam, powdered sugar, super simple, a little bit of salt. And yeah, I'll be back when everything's done. All right, we have all of our cupcakes frosted. Y'all, these are so cute. We have a couple with the peanut butter frosting from the recipe, and then a couple with a strawberry jam buttercream that I just kind of invented on my own. I'm gonna try one of the peanut butter ones, just to tell you how this turned out as written. They're still like a little warm from the oven, y'all. I'm so excited about this. Okay. Oh my God, that is so good. It's super peanut buttery. It's super delicious. I think these are gonna be a huge hit tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.